Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I wanted to show you my new preset. This is kind of based around the Michael Landau tri-stereo chorus sound. There's a lot of speculation as to what he was using at the time. There's a lot of pictures of different racks. My assumption is he was always changing, so that's why we have different stories as to what he was using. So I read a lot of the forums and I read a lot of the descriptions of the people that saw the rack, and I kind of put one together with a lot of the similar specs, so we'll break it down. The first thing to keep in mind is you'll need some kind of a Strat type guitar, and I particularly put my volume at around 8.5 or 9, so I don't have my volume all the way up. So this is what the preset sounds like with everything on. Cool. So you get an idea. Basically, we're gonna start with the compression. Actually, let's start with the input. I have a gate because we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 compressors running at the same time, so it's gonna get really noisy. So for my first gate in the input, I set it to negative 70 dBs for the threshold and 3.15 for the ratio. Okay, so that's a start. We're gonna go on to the first compressor. I have it set to the studio compressor, and the values are as follows. Threshold is negative 31.3. Ratio is 8. Okay, these are the attack times. They might be the stock ones, I can't remember, but these are what they are. And very important over here, I'm boosting the signal 6 dBs. After this, there's some gain reduction. So now the amp I'm using is the Solo 88 Clean. It's based on the Soldano, which Landau used a lot. He still might, who knows. These are the values I have. Just kind of EQ 4, 5, 5. 0. Presence is at 4, 2.38. So this is where the magic really is. So I go over down to the speaker drive. So speaker compression is at 5, and we have this set to 45 milliseconds. And also I have an output EQ, which is the 5 band, kind of based around the Mark, the Mesa Boogie amps. And I have the little smile happening, cutting out a lot of the mids. So these are the values for that. Make sure it's in the output, not pre. And in dynamics, I have dynamic presence set to 2, dynamic det set to 2. The output, the compressor threshold is set to negative 44, and compression clarity is set to 6.96. Now we go over to the cab. I'm using factory 2, 702 and 705, which is just basically a 4x12 with a 57 and then with a 121 with the proximity boosted. So 4.5 on here, 4.06 on here, and the proximity frequency I set it to 99, so kind of lower than usual. And I am doing low cut around 55 hertz. The high cut I haven't touched. If you're gonna use this for recording, I would recommend doing a bigger low cut, maybe around 100 hertz, or you can start there and play by ear. I left it like this for now because it's a demo and we're hearing it by itself, so it'll give it a nice full tone. So volume pedal, nothing crazy here, but it's very important to have a volume pedal because that's a big part of the sound. Another gate, because as I mentioned, we've got some compression happening. So negative 76.6, ratio set to 4. Okay, now we move on to another EQ, and this is just boosting a lot of that little sparkly top end thing that's happening. So around 8K, I have a 3.05 and 16K 6.98. Now we go on to the first tri-chorus. So a couple of the forums I read talked about how he would run into the tri-chorus and then split the signal. One was actually going to a verb, and the other one was going to a pitch modulator. So I tried it that way, and I feel that adding another chorus up here on this one sounds more like the original. So this is basically kind of like a wet, wet, dry, right? This is the wet, the two, and then the middle one is the dry, although it's not completely dry, and I'll show you why. But the purpose behind it is that this will have the modulation and the verb, and this will have modulation and verb as well, and this one will be clean. So that's why I have my mix set to 60% over here, because I don't want it to be totally affected. So these are the values for the tri-chorus. And if we check the next tri-chorus, which is the one that's going to 1 I actually have everything set to 100, because this one I want it to be completely wet and affected. Plex delay, I have all 8 delays on. Okay, kind of a big high cut over here because I don't want it to be too present. And the mix is set to 34.3%. Okay, now the next thing to look at is the panning, which is here. All the levels are 100%. And then I kind of pan things out. 25, negative 25, 25, negative 100, 100, negative 50, 50, negative 100, and 100. Okay, this main one is going to be running kind of like in the middle, so these I want them to still spread out. Where were we? Okay, and then the reverb for this one is the cavern. The cavern reverb, which is a pretty big sounding one. The mix, I have it set to 12.5 right now. Time is at 11 seconds. So this you can actually boost, but if you're using an additional compressor after this, say as a plugin or anything, I would lower this because that'll really pump up that reverb, and maybe you don't want it to be so invasive. So now let's go over here. Pitch modulation is not available on the X Edit anymore, so not anymore actually. It's not available yet. So I'm gonna read you the values that I have. I have it set to quad detune, as you can see, and I'm using all 4 of the voices. So voice 1 is set to negative 9 cents. Voice 2 is set to positive 9 cents. 3 is set to negative 12 cents, and 4 is set to positive 12 cents. So I actually read those values somewhere, that somebody saw his rack and that's how he had it set up. So delay, I don't have any delay, no tempo, no feedback. Levels at 100%, once again. Mix at 100%. And then the panning is as follows. For voice 1, negative 50. Voice 2, positive 50. Voice 3, negative 100. Voice 4, positive 100. So kind of a similar spread as the Plex delay. No low cut, no high cut. And the input, the mix, as I mentioned, is at 100%. So now we move on to the delay. I have this set to an analog stereo delay, but the configuration is set to dual. So this will actually let you edit each one of the two, the right and the left delay. So as you can see, these are the settings. I like the 8th note and the dotted 8th. It works really well for like ambience and spacey effects. And 25% is the mix right now. And then the reverb on this end is the North Church. It's almost set to 20 seconds. Stereo width 100. Echo density, mix 15%. So that's pretty much it. That's the preset. I don't know if I went over this. Let's see, compression. We're adding one more compressor. This is for the dry signal, right? Which is not completely dry, as I mentioned, because this is 60%. But it definitely doesn't have any delays or reverbs after it. Only the ones that are blending back in. So this is set to that. Negative 28 for the threshold and 8 for the ratio. Attack time and release time, these are the values. 80% mix, so it's actually kind of like a blend. And I have a 7.78 dB boost on here too. So I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think in the comment box. All right, guys, thank you for watching.